Okay, the first video we installed our domain controller and prepared it for the namespace, fully qualified domain namespace e2k10.com. Now we're ready to move on and install the first Exchange server. Always best practice to install the CAS server first, then the hubs. So we're going to do this ch1 and get both roles done at the same time. Here's the steps we're going to move through. Launch PowerShell. Set execution in PowerShell to unrestricted. We're gonna this is 4 different ways to install the prereqs for the CAS and hub role. You can do it with the GUI with setup. You can do it with the new Windows 2008 R2 feature, add Windows feature. You can do it with a deprecated command that came with Windows 2008, and this still works in R2. There's just no guarantees how much further in the future they'll support this. And option 4 is a custom PowerShell script written by Pat Richard. And if you want to explore his website, you can go to his website. It's a wonderful, quick and dirty PowerShell to get your prereqs installed fast. Then we're going to prepare the schema. Then we're going to install Exchange. We're going to actually use the setup GUI install for this ch1 CAS hub server, and when we do the CAS hub 2, I'll use the setup command with the CAS and hub switches, so you get to see both. Then we're going to set the execution policy back to restricted, and we'll run the rollup and see how that goes. So let's get started. Launch PowerShell. So we're actually going to run the PowerShell script by Pat Richard. Helps if I'm in the right directory. And we're going to choose 13, 9, 10. 13, disable TCP version 6. We're going to do 9, configure the port sharing, net TCP port sharing, and then we're going to do 10, 10 and 8. 10, the Microsoft Filter Pack 2.0 for Office 2010. Okay, the filter pack installed nicely, and now we're going to do number 8. Install client and access hub prerequisites. You notice that Pat does a check to see if the filter pack's installed or not, and it is. This is going to take a little while, and while it's installing, I'll pause, and after it's done installing, I'll scroll up and show you the results. Okay, that finished. I'll scroll up and show you the results of the prereqs. They all installed very nicely. And at this point, we're going to choose number 14 and reboot. And then we'll move on to the install. Okay, now that that we've installed the prereqs, I'm going to go ahead and extend the schema. I could have done this first, but it really doesn't matter. And my organization is going to be MIC Exchange 2010. And this is going to take quite a while. I'm going to pause, and when I'm done, I'll show you the results. Okay, the schema extensions went real nice. Oops. Grabbed the wrong scroll bar. All success. And now at this point, I'm thinking about doing a snapshot with the domain controller and the CH1 machine, just so I could at that point run two different copy tests and maybe record them both. So at this point I'm going to pause, take a snapshot. Okay, I just took a snapshot of the domain controller and this new Exchange CAS Hub Server 1. And now I can do two different installs. I'm going to do one with the GUI and I'm going to do one with the setup. Okay, we'll do the GUI install first. I'm going to choose the DVD for speed, so I have to go out to the internet. Okay, we're ready to install. Select custom so I can select hub transmit in the client. And here we go. At this point I'm not going to configure the client access server role. That's internet facing. I may come around and do it in a later video. Okay, it's going to check whether the prereqs are all installed correctly, and this is going to take a while. At this point I'm going to pause. Okay, the prereq check is done, and it was all a great success. We'll click install. And I'll be back later to show you the results. Okay, the installation is done, and it all was successful. Click finish. We're going to let the EMC come up and then we'll reboot. I'm going to let the reboot finish, and then we're going to move on to the Rollup anyhow, so we're going to be getting new updates. So are you sure you want to exit? Yes. Wait for the EMC to pop up. Okay, as you can see, the EMC came up. So now we'll close this and we'll restart the machine. Okay, it's rebooted now. At this point we've installed Exchange, CAS, and HubRel. And now we're going to set execution policy off. And we're going to give the Rollup a shot. This is a good time for a snapshot in case the Rollup messes something up. So I'm going to take a little break and go snapshot. Okay, I've snapshotted the domain controller and the CAS Hub server. I'm ready to install the Rollup. Okay, now we're going to check the version of Exchange before we install the Rollup. But I wanted to bring everybody's attention to when I last ran set execution policy leaving the PowerShell after running Pat Richards' script. I set it back to restricted, which is the default execution policy. Now at this point I'm going to set it to remote signed. I know a lot of people do unrestricted, and I probably will end up doing it too, but I'm just trying to walk through these different ways. If it's restricted, you can't run the PowerShell, the Exchange PowerShell command. So I'm going to set it to remote signed, and that will allow me to run the PowerShell. Nice PowerShell trick is when you can do get Exchange server, and you can find the string at the end of your pipe. Okay, that took a long time to run. I think it's going to take a long time to install too. Not a good time to pause. I'll unpause as it indicates movement across, just to give you an idea where I'm at. Wow, that took forever. We're finally done. Let's see if it's going to call it a reboot. And it didn't. Let's go check the Exchange version. So 218.15 is still SP1. This list doesn't have the rollup in here. Let me reboot. Programs. So to find out what version is installed, you can go Programs and Features. Oops, wrong one. Dang it. View installed updates, and you'll see the Rollup 4 has been installed. Now through some investigation, I found out that there's this article here that shows up all the releases, and you can see the Rollup 4 is 141.322 or 323.1. Now when I look at what it shows in the system, it's that. So I looked into this guy's script right here, and you can find it at his SkyDrive, this Exchange Rollup script. I've run it a few times, so you can see that he outputs this. So how did he get this? So how he got this was he goes here to the setup and finds the install path, and then he goes looking for this file in the bin directory, ex setup, and this is in the bin directory, and he pulls the data from right there. There's got to be a better way to do this. Anyhow, I'm all worn out. I'm going to end this Exchange installation of the CAS and Hub and try to look at installing the CAS Hub number 2. Thanks for watching.